Well, good morning, Beaumont. Well, we got lots of exciting news out there today. First of all, I want to ask all of you to pray for our friends in Florida, pray for our friends up and down the East Coast because they've been struck by this. I'm just asking you to give all of that some strong and serious consideration in your prayers today. They need that help. The good news is in Florida, Ron DeSantis is a very hands-on kind of guy. He's used to handling stuff, and it's going to be handled a lot better there than it would be in some other states. University of Kansas professor, he's not happy. Yeah, he's not happy at all. He said, "What frustrates me is there are some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president." Well, that's what he said. We still don't know what this guy's name is. They're suppressing that information. But he went on to say, "We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works." And then he said, "Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that." Nonetheless, video of the professor's comments somehow managed to surface on social media, and the footage has gone viral. Thousands of people have seen it. University of Kansas responded to the backlash in this statement on X, informing the public that the professor has been placed on administrative leave while the school conducts an investigation into this matter. What we're dealing with here, though, is on the left. These people so badly want a one-world globalist government under a benevolent dictator that they're willing to do almost anything to make sure that Kamala Harris gets elected. Why? Because they don't like a representative republic governed by rules. They want to make up their own rules. And that means having a dictator. For instance, they accuse Donald Trump of suppressing the media and doing all sorts of horrible things, but yet that is exactly what they have been doing. Give you a perfect example in my case. I had a YouTube channel, had over 50,000 subscribers, and bammo, just like that, because they didn't like something that I had on my program, I believe it was someone that I was interviewing, they just killed the whole channel. 8 years, thousands of hours of programming, gone that quickly. So they don't like free speech. They sure don't like democracy. And Kamala Harris, let's keep in mind that Kammy has never, ever won an election. She's never won an election. She has been placed everywhere that she has been put. And you might say, well, she got elected Attorney General out in California. Well, did she? I don't know. But the reason we have an electoral college is so that we will not be ruled by the two ends of our country, so that we will not be ruled by the people in New York City and Los Angeles. We have to have some way to equalize the influence across the United States, because what do you do about that poor farmer in Kansas? Not the university professor in Kansas, but the poor farmer in Kansas. He is the guy that feeds the world. And yet, if you go out there, because he's got all these miles and miles and acres of fields, there's not that many people living out there. So you will disenfranchise fellows' vote if you get rid of the Electoral College. If we got rid of the Electoral College, all of these candidates would spend all of their time in New York and San Francisco. That would be it. Maybe Chicago, because that's all they would need to win the election. That would overwhelm the vote of the rest of the United States. So the Electoral College was created to make sure that the little guy in middle America at least gets heard, so that maybe these candidates will actually spend some time going to some of the flyover states and campaigning about what they actually believe. In Cammy's case, of course, she doesn't want you to know what she actually believes because nobody would vote for that. So we have an electoral college, and we want to say, thank God for it. In other news, CBS had Kammy on there for an interview on 60 Minutes. And once again, they failed. They couldn't release the actual unedited 60-minute video because it would make her look very bad and unpresidential. The truth is, somebody got to look at the actual edits on this. We don't know if they're going to get released or not. But they re-spliced her word salad into a preview clip and then doctored it up. Most of this information is to be found on X. Of course, they hate that. But one of the tweets on X said there are only two possibilities now. CBS either released a phony transcript or the transcript is real, but CBS initially released a phony clip that added all of that word salad to Kamala's answer. But if CBS had released the full and unedited transcript, then Kamala's word salad could be found elsewhere in the transcript, and it's not. So if this is not an unedited transcript, this is Kamala Harris's campaign-approved transcript. And let us never forget that this is the same CBS News and 60 Minutes that still hasn't retracted its lies about the Hunter Biden laptop being Russian disinformation. So to sum things up, if you gently ask an anti-Semitic leftist like Ta-Nehisi Coates a few challenging questions, CBS News will publicly shame you until you buckle. But if you rig an interview with Kammi to try to make her look smarter than she is, well, that's okay. So, I don't know. We're in a world of hurt here. Kammi has never won anything. Yeah, you might say she won the Attorney General election, but did she really? I don't know. But after that, she was in the primary running for president. She couldn't even get 2%. And then all of a sudden she winds up as the vice president pick for Uncle Joe. Now, you and I both know that Uncle Joe did not get to pick her. He did not pick her at all. He had no say in the deal. The same way he has no say in what kind of oatmeal he gets in the morning or what color of socks he wears. All of these decisions are made for him, and then he does what he's told. But far less CBS News is proving itself to be every bit as corrupt and dishonest as CNN. And I don't know what to say, except for this is why you listen to Freedom 1300 right here in Beaumont, because we're going to give you the straight stuff. Now, my show keeps getting taken down on YouTube for something I said. I don't know what. They never tell you. But they didn't give me a warning this time as far as like one more time and you're out of here. They just took the show down. Said I violated their policies. Here on Freedom 1300, you're going to get the straight scoop. So hang in there. Oh, by the way, tomorrow I will not be on because Chip Darby's going to be doing an interview with a potential sheriff candidate in my time slot. You don't want to miss that. Now this. Meanwhile, my president, Donald John Trump, has set up a rally for October 27th, the day before my anniversary, at New York City's Madison Square Garden. The only problem they're really having with the venue is they know that it's a little bit too small for the number of people that are actually going to want to come there. But a senior official with the Trump presidential campaign confirmed the date to the Epoch Times. The rally is slated for just 9 days before the November 5th presidential election, putting Donald Trump squarely against Vice President Kamala Harris, a woman who has no executive experience whatsoever. Madison Square Garden only holds about 20,000 people and has hosted some of the United States' most memorable events, ranging from the Frazier-Ali fight back in 1971 to the Billy Graham Crusades. Trump has declared a big play for New York, and even though the city is famously known as Deep Blue Democrat, Donald Trump is probably going to win it. Still, some analysts doubt that Donald Trump can make up sufficient ground to win the state and turn it into Republican red, but they don't know what you and I know, and that's this. There are a lot of people, literally hundreds of thousands of people who have never voted in a presidential election, that have now had enough of Bidenomics. They've had enough of not being able to meet the basic needs of their family, and they've had enough of this communist regime, and they're not going to vote for Kammi under any circumstances. They're going to get out and they're going to vote for Donald Trump because they're going to vote for the United States. They're going to vote for liberty. They're going to vote for their families. Jason Meister, a Trump advisory board member who works in New York, said if anyone can forcefully and directly flip New York red, it is Donald Trump. I mean, he showed up in the Bronx here not too long back, and they were limiting crowd sizes there. They wouldn't let people in. But still, he had up to 10,000 people there in the Crotona Park in the Bronx. And I saw a number of interviews. I'm not going to play them for you here, but a number of interviews with the black folks that happen to live in the Bronx. And they all said, man, we're voting Trump. So this is a big deal. Holding a MAGA rally in Madison Square Garden is a show of force and a demonstration of dominance. Gotham is known to be cutthroat and unforgiving. It's not for the faint of heart. But Donald Trump, a native of Queens, New York, rose to fame and fortune as a New York real estate mogul. And of course, he used to be the star of The Apprentice, which was the #1 rated show on the network. And then he ran for president as a Republican. Ruined everything. Many of the city's luminaries and power brokers have turned against Trump after the former Democrat ran as a Republican and won the presidency of 2016. Following his unsuccessful bid in 2020 to retain the White House? No. Following the stolen election in 2020? Yeah, that one. I want to remind you all once again, we deserve what we got because we saw a wrong and we let it stand. January 6th should have been followed by February 6th, but we let it stand. Many of the city's luminaries don't like Trump, but last year New York was the first of several jurisdictions to indict him on a bunch of full bogus made-up charges. But the truth is now even the mayor is fed up and he's done being a Democrat. You'll see that happen. So anyway, God bless you guys. Have a great day. Pray for Florida. Pray for the East Coast. And get your friends out and let's get this vote done. In Jesus' name.
You have a choice, and you chose Freedom 1300.